What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday mornings, U.S. time. So come by and say hello. All right. Well, we had another Monday, another town hall, and I gotta say, we had Yaba, Matt on, we had Hardpoint on back-to-back weeks. And there just wasn't much new information on on this town hall. I think there was a lot that's been dropped over the last couple of weeks, and the focus of this town hall really was on the node sales that will be coming up here in a couple of days. And sure, there were a couple of questions for ranked rewards. We're going to get into my 5 biggest takeaways, but on the whole, I think we're in a place where we're just playing the waiting game. There's a lot that's going to be released over the next couple of weeks and months, and I think we just need to see how things shake out one thing at a time. So I'm going to dive into some of that today. Now, for those of you who might be new to the channel, wondering what this is all about, this is not a town hall summary. There's a fantastic slew of content creators, both video and written, that put those summaries together. So I highly recommend going out and supporting them. This is just my 5 biggest takeaways, the things that kind of stuck out to me, and then I wanted to expand a little bit on in this video. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right in. I have my visual here so you can follow along. Now, forgot to even change the date. There we go. All set. Now we're good to go. Number 1, this is kind of an offhand note that Yaba had mentioned about millions of dollars potentially being poured into nodes. Now, this will be after the presale unless those millions of dollars want to come in before and buy vouchers. So essentially this is vouchers serving their purpose, right? The SPS stakers have the vouchers and can choose early access to get into this, or they can sell it for market price. And those who aren't staking any SPS can come in and buy the vouchers from them. So, that's the whole point of the vouchers. I get it. It makes sense. Is it the most perfect system? No, I'm sure there's ways to improve it, but I appreciate it, and I do think it's very innovative the way that they've set this up. So love them or hate them, vouchers are an important part of the economy now, and that is just how they shake out. So my main thought on this is, if I'm being brutally honest, I don't know that all of this hype for the nodes is actually going to materialize into something real. So this is the first time that I'm now hearing, from Yaba, that there's a lot of money on the sidelines that wants to come in. Maybe, people who aren't really interested in playing the game or in-game assets, but do want to get in on the nodes. Maybe after seeing what's happened with other games such as Gala, or other projects, I should say, as Gala. And I guess that's interesting to me, because I was really expecting many people to be disappointed with the upcoming node sale. Now, that's just me and my personal opinion based on what I've seen. There's a lot of hype around nodes, but there's also 2,000 of them compared to 500 wakas. And these seem to be a little bit more expensive, especially with the price of SPS and vouchers going. Well, SPS doesn't matter, but with the price of vouchers going up, and the fact that you can get them later. So I just felt like a lot of people would be sitting on the sidelines waiting this out to see what will happen. And I still think that could be the case. So I don't know what to make of this, but I did want to share it because it stuck out to me as, if people are being a little more pessimistic, or at least, not thinking that things are going to sell through, it was interesting that the team would drop this. Now, I do need to make a very clear kind of analogy between something similar events. Remember when Chaos Legion launched and everybody thought it was going to sell it like crazy because all these guilds and all these people were going to come in with millions of dollars and just buy a ton of Chaos Legion packs? Yeah, that never happened. So I just want to say, I'm not saying that Matt isn't right, and I'm not saying not to believe him. I am just trying to be very cautious about all of the hype and FOMO going into this. There's been a lot of math involved, and a lot of people smarter than me, or at least having more time than me to jump into the details, the nitty-gritty details of it, have been thinking that maybe Tranche 1 might be the sweet spot, right? So that is definitely something to consider if you are thinking about getting one. Now, for myself, I have decided to jump in onto the node sales. I have previously said that I was not going to participate, but my guild is pooling together, so I just put in a portion, so I'm not going to have a full node. And the cool thing is that I won't have to run it because we're going to run it through all the guild stuff. So another benefit of being in guilds, at least, or starting a guild and trying to pull things together if you want to be the organizer of a group. So something to consider. But that is where I'm at right now. I'm happy that I'm going to have a piece of it and some exposure. And, if at some point in the future I do want to get another one or a full one just for myself, that's always an option. But right now, I like the SPS, and I don't really want to put money elsewhere into other things. The funny thing too is everybody's like, oh, I don't want to part with my SPS. I don't want to part with my SPS. Well, that just means that people are waiting until people are using their SPS stacks rather than bringing outside money in, which doesn't make much sense to me, right? Like, again, and like, you can approach this however you want, but if I was going to buy a node, I wouldn't buy it with in-game assets that I already have. I wouldn't want to take away that opportunity cost of SPS that is already being staked and earning some good, APR. But I guess for other folks who don't want to bring other capital in, though, they're measuring this out and saying that I am willing to take that hit, sell some of my SPS. Obviously, the lower the price of SPS, the more SPS will be burned and the more that it will cost in SPS. So that's just another thing to keep in mind. Like, if you're planning to jump in on this, I would really recommend not buying I would really recommend bringing outside capital and then buying SPS like Tuesday night or even early Wednesday morning so that you get roughly that amount and, see what happens from there. Granted, had you been buying SPS now, it's up a decent percentage. So I guess don't listen to me. All right, let's go ahead and jump over to number 2. So Matt said that the legendary summoner stats are already decided and that he's most likely going to share them next week. Now, he said that before they decided that there was not going to be a town hall next week. So it makes sense. They said that they wanted to release the summoner stats in early June. Next week would have been May 30th. So June 6th or June 5th, whatever ends up being that Monday, it makes sense that it'll be then. Now, he did give a hint, and I think it was an incredibly heavy-handed hint because I'm not quoting him exactly, but I'm very closely paraphrasing. He said that with Peak Rider and Tyrus, who are the two kind of summoners from beta right now, the legendary summoner and the rare summoner, they both offer some type of armor. And so he said with both of them being phased out of modern format, there is a void in armor for life. Something like that. So I made the prediction a while back that I thought maybe there would be some kind of void armor protection for or void armor as part of what the legendary life summoner gets to offer. Now, there's two ways that you can interpret this. One, you can say it's actually void armor. Or two, you can say that there's two separate abilities, that they do get actual armor as well as void. And if you think back to someone like Mimosa Nightshade from the Untamed Legendary Summoner, she offers void. So there is a precedent for that. Is it cool that they're using or reusing some of the abilities? I guess it's fine because it's in a different splinter. So now you're going to get some magic protection for the life splinter, which would be pretty good because I don't think there's much magic protection outside of Blinding Reflector in the current Chaos Legion set. So we'll I'm going to do a deep dive into that probably at some point, and we can do more speculation. So I'll save that for a separate video, but I did want to share that with you here that those were not the exact words, but he said there is a void in the armor for life, something along those lines. So let me know what you think is going to be the case for that. Number 3, this has to do with the upcoming ranked rewards. Now, there's a lot of people still complaining about something that's not even there yet, but I get it. Like, nobody wants to be spamming the same splinter the entire day. But what's good to know is that Matt is already thinking ahead and that he wants to implement like 10 to 20 more different focuses and even combine some of them. So for example, I mean, I even gave the one where, I was like, it could be Thorns, Magic Reflect, and Return Fire, right? Like just do one of those. He said something like Sneak and Snipe. Maybe those will be combined together, but he wants to take some of those abilities. So I put that video out just a couple of days ago. Not that he watched it, obviously, but I'm saying like that was the exact idea of what I had. And so it sounds good that he's working on it, or at least thinking about it. Now, the thing is, I think it's just a logistical issue. They wanted to get this out right away, and the easiest way for them to do that was just to stick with something basic for the daily focus. So hopefully on the version 2 of update of this, which I hope we will get, I really hope that we will get within like 2 months, because I think 4 seasons of like Splinter spamming should be enough. Granted, if we start playing and it ends up not being as bad, then maybe, it's fine that they may not rush it, just because I'm sure there's a lot of other things that they want to focus on. With modern and all that other good stuff coming. We've talked about it ad nauseum, but he said 10 to 20 other different focuses based on monster abilities. So I'm excited about that. He's listening to the community and they're already thinking through that. So that's very exciting. Number 4. Okay. This was an interesting kind of back and forth between Agrode and Yaba, and then Dave in the community, who was asking the question. So the main thing here is that Dave was asking, how can we get some kind of just any insight for what voucher utility will be in the future? And then specifically regarding Rift Watchers, because many folks who have a limited amount of vouchers, right? These are not infinite quantities that are floating around. So people just don't know what to do with their vouchers at this point in time. So if someone wants to make, their best estimate and most educated decision on if they should go for a validator node or hold the vouchers for Rift Watchers, the question is, I guess the direct question is like, can we get some kind of direction for what Rift Watchers will require when it comes to vouchers? Is it going to be just a pre-sale? Is it going to be the entire set? Is it going to be 50%, right? Like, is it going to be more than one voucher, or is it going to be half a voucher? Like, just any kind of information. And I get it. And I think Dave is onto a great point here. Now, the thing is, the way that the team responded is, it's hard to disagree with their it's hard to disagree with the way that they're kind of determining this out. And their basic response is, and I'm paraphrasing here, is they don't know what's going to happen to the economy over the next couple of months. So voucher sales not voucher sales, but node sales could sputter out and maybe not be as hyped up as they're thinking, or node sales could go absolutely crazy. And if you remember, the way that the node sales are structured is that as they go up to different tranches, there's kind of a soft floor set for voucher prices. And so all of a sudden, if we're blasting through tranche 1, 2, and 3, if these millions of dollars actually do come in, then vouchers could actually be sitting at higher prices. And all of a sudden, if if they say right now, so their argument is, if we determine right now how many vouchers are required, then they're boxing themselves in, because if the price of a voucher in the future goes up to like $15, $20, and they've already said that Rift Watchers is going to require all vouchers, that's going to be a lot for packs. Like, that's going to be $25 for packs, right? So Rift Watchers is not going to sell very quickly at all. So they're trying to leave some wiggle room there and explain their reasoning behind this. It's just, there's too many different factors that are coming into this. The other thing too is, or that they mentioned is, if node sales go absolutely crazy, then vouchers might get completely cleaned out of circulation, which means that when Rift Watchers drops, there's not enough vouchers for people to actually start buying a significant amount of packs. We're going to be metering out packs by like the dozens maybe on a daily or weekly basis, which would be slower than Chaos Legion. So I get where they're coming from. I wanted to kind of highlight it here because I think the frustration from the community and the request for some clarity is very much warranted. But where the team is coming from makes sense too, and they're doing this. They're doing this for the benefit of the community. I truly believe that, because if they box themselves into some kind of corner, it's just going to make it more difficult for everybody. So it sucks right now that we're going to have to make these decisions, but you do know what is coming down the line. And, at the end of the day, like, Everybody just has to make the best decision for themselves. So good luck with that. If you decide to go for nodes, if you decide not to go for nodes, and hold on to them for hold on to your vouchers for Rift Watchers. Okay, number 5. Hardpoint addressed this in like last week's town hall, and then he addressed it again today. But win trading is being addressed now. We haven't heard as much recently in the map chat, or at least there's been a lot more excitement about other things rather than all the bot exploits that have been happening. But it seems as though it's still going on, and that the team has some kind of way of addressing it. Now, the way that I view this is, right now it's not very decentralized. So I'm talking from a very purist form, because before I even jump into this, I want to say, if Hardpoint ever listens to this, or whoever listens to this, I appreciate the work that Hardpoint and the team are putting in, because I think this absolutely needs to happen. But a part of it comes off to me as very anti the ethos of this decentralization. So there's this idea that, anybody can come in and have an experience with the game and feel free to interact with the game however they want, right? That's why bots are never going away. But what they're doing now is, whenever they catch exploitative behavior, they are saying, well, these two accounts can't play with one another because we are suspecting them of win trading. Now, the thing is, the evidence is like incredibly damning at this point. Like, you just look at it and it looks ridiculous, right? Like all these like one game or one monster throwaway losses to a single account. It's so obvious, and I'm glad that something is being done about it. Now, what I hope we can move towards in the future, and I'm not sure if Hardpoint said this or not, but at some point in the future, if this were to go to a DAO vote, right? And I think the thing is, it would be very tedious and cumbersome, right? Is the DAO going to be voting on every account that's trying to do some kind of win trading? Like that would feel like such a waste of time. I wouldn't want to spend my time as an SPS holder and staker, right? Like, I just wouldn't want to spend my time dealing with that. But again, it's rubs me the wrong way. Now, I need to clarify, because Aggro did last week, and then again maybe this week as well. But they're not banning anybody from playing. They are just, if they suspect two accounts of engaging in win trading, then they are bucketing them into like different, like, I guess play areas within the game, so that they never match up with one another again. So again, it bothers me as like a decentralization purist, right? And I'm not. I don't even want to say that I'm a decentralization purist, but from the theoretical perspective of a decentralization purist, like it bothers me, because I'm just like, well, it's not perfect, but I'm glad that it's being worked on, because if this is the interim solution, we definitely need it, and I trust Hardpoint and the team to make the best decisions for the community. It's just, I wonder what this looks like as the game moves toward decentralization, because that's obviously a big part of what the nodes are and will be in the future. So I don't have the answers for you now. I'm just telling you that it irks me a little bit, thinking about not necessarily thinking about what's being done right now, but how we move forward in the future. And so the other thing that Hardpoint mentioned too, which I think was very on point, is just the fact that if they continue to do this, what they don't want is to increase the wait times between finding a match. And so if all of a sudden they're going to be like just bucketing, all these different accounts into different places, it could take a while to find a match. And so, again, just going back to it, it's like, we don't know who's actually win trading. This is just kind of suspected. So there's no, it's kind of like you're guilty until proven innocent type of deal. So there's a lot of things that really bother me about it. But like I said, it's the best solution we have right now. And I'm grateful that the team is spending the time necessary. I just hope that when we move forward as a company, as a community, as just a project together collaboratively, that we can find a way to address this appropriately, or best case scenario, once we get into ranked rewards, maybe the incentive won't be there. But I feel like the ranked rewards is not going to be the solution we need for win trading. I think win trading will always be something that needs to be looked at. And at the very least, I'm glad that the team has a solution in place, even if it's just for the interim. So that is all 5 items. I'm going to just scroll through here to see if there's anything else that I wanted to touch upon. I do need to listen to it one more time. I like to listen to them twice because I'm a nerd like that. But DigiCon is coming up. So if you wanted to attend, I believe that's this upcoming weekend. Shout out to the Hash King CEO. They're going to be featured there. So that's a game that I am not playing a little bit more just yet, but I am buying a couple of other assets or tokens within it and trying to figure out how I want to play with it. Then they had some eye candy. So here's like, I think this is the validator node wallpapers. So these look really, really cool. And one thing, and I'll go ahead and end the video with this. One thing that I appreciated that, I don't know if it was Matt or Agrod who said this, but after Nate shared this eye candy, he said, one of them said, like, there's a bunch of other projects with nodes out there, but none of those nodes have like artwork that are part of the lore, and going to be part of like the story of where this game and this world, this universe is going. And I thought that was really profound, because I can't tell you guys enough. Obviously, I'm working with the creative team now to do music, but I cannot tell you enough how much like incredible thought and passion and talent is being put into the lore and to really build out the intellectual property. Like Nate spoke about this just briefly, but I really hope he gets a chance to talk about it more in the future, as the creative side, as the the whole like lore of Splinterlands really starts to take a larger shape. To me, this is the most exciting thing about Splinterlands. And, there's nothing specific this week outside of a couple pieces of wallpaper, but just seeing the focus on lore. And Matt said last week, right, lore is like, it's good. It's awesome to see them focusing on this, because this is not something that like generates, crazy amounts of money. It's like one of those things where it's just like they're putting it out there because they want to build a universe. It's an investment into creating a really great intellectual property, a la Pokemon or Magic the Gathering, or name your favorite game right out there that you get into because you appreciate the characters, the story, and everything. And now, with a card game, you play with these cards all the time. So to learn a little bit more about their stories, to have them be placed in this narrative that just kind of, engulfs you in a whole new world is absolutely exciting to me. So I really appreciated that comment, and I wanted to just kind of end things on that note. So let me know what you thought of the town hall, if you gave it a listen, and what you are excited about for the next coming week or two. Now, last thing, I know I said I was going to end, but last thing, they said that there was not going to be a town hall next week. I don't know. Maybe if I'm feeling spicy, I'll still do a 5 biggest takeaways from the previous week, because we do have a couple of other things on the radar. But in case I don't, I just wanted to let you know, node sales in 2 days, and the upcoming ranked rewards update in a little over a week. So changes are coming, guys. It's going to be exciting, and I am very, very hyped to experience all of this with you. So yeah, take care. Have an amazing rest of your day. I'll catch you all in the next video, and I'll see you around the game. Take care.